What's up, Lloyd? What's up, Ryan? Yeah, solo's gonna be tough. I remember solo taking like over an hour last year when I did this. But I think there's like 9 less people this year compared to last year, so I don't think it'll be as long. Also, I don't know. I'm looking at solo now. Obviously, we haven't started the prediction yet, but I feel like I have a good sense of like who the top 4 potentially could possibly be. So, but yeah. Yeah, I think solo still will probably take the longest, so we're just going to start with it this time compared to ending with it last year. What's up, Bye Nana? What's up, Stefan? Yeah, so I don't know if they've released publicly who's battling each other, but it is like I know who's battling each other, but I guess it would be fine to talk about it now, right? Because it's only fucking like 6 days away, so I don't really think they'd give a shit anymore. Yeah. Pac Max is a good bet. What's up, Ninja? Yeah, Lloyd. I seen that bracket. I did mine. I'm not gonna spoil my predictions though until we're at loops, which will be second to last. I also have this up occasionally after every category, but for right now, we do not need it. Yeah, Alexinho is also a very good pick. Absolute veteran, been around the block a lot. Yeah, it's very competitive in nature though, because, well, obviously there's the wildcard winners, and then there's the winners of all these other competitions that allowed them to kind of come to this competition because they won it, right? So just by like nature, it's very competitive, but it's always kind of been like that. Yeah. Also, there's 16 here. Do you guys know by chance if they're doing elims for a top 8, or is it just straight up top 16 bracket? Is that public knowledge yet? Did they come out and say that? What's up, SLPT? Goodbye, SLPT. It's elims? Okay, so that means it would be top 8, right? I actually prefer top 8 for solo. I think it makes it way more competitive. Well, not necessarily more competitive. More at stakes, I think. I always like elims though. I wish they had elims for everything. I think that makes it more interesting. But I think condensing it to top 8 compared to top 16, obviously it makes for more battles, and you know, more battles could equal probably more battles of the year, potentially, like crazy matchups. But at the same time, it kind of makes it prolonged, like a little bit too long, I think. For like a live event, I think like videos is fine, but since like I'm watching it live this year, I think I'd rather like a top 8 for battles. I think more at stake, I think more prestigious, a little bit more impactful. All right, we'll get going here in a couple minutes. Wait for a few more people to hop in before we start. But yeah, so the plan is, obviously, if you guys watched this last year when I did this, basically we're just going to be running through every single category here. There's only 5 categories this year for this GBB. I believe they dropped, what did they drop from last year? Oh yeah, under 18. They removed that category this year. So we only have 5 categories this year. That would be solo, tag team, crew, loop station, and producer. The order that we'll be going in is, will be this. So I'm going to start off with solo, tag team, crew. We're going to be running through all the solo beatbox stuff. Then we'll be getting into the loop. I think for me, just on like a quick glance here, I think like surface level, the most competitive, I think, is probably producer, simply because there's only 4 people, and honestly, any one of those 4 people could easily take it. So I think that's probably the most competitive, just because of how limited the number of participants for that category is. Loop is also kind of competitive, although I think there's like a few front runners that are probably more likely to win than others. Crew is probably the one I have no fucking idea, because most of the crews, it's kind of like producer, there's only 4 of them, but I don't recognize a lot of like the individual members in those crews, so that's probably the biggest unknown for me, is the crews. Tag team, oh man, tag team is very interesting. I like a lot of the teams in tag team, but starting off here with solo, down from 25 competitors last year to 16. According to the chat here, is going to be 16 eliminations and top 8 for battles. So that's going to be pretty interesting, I think. But yeah, that is the plan here. So starting off with solo here. Yeah, let's just get right into it. I don't know how long this live stream is going to be. I think it took me like 3 or 4 hours last year. I don't think it's going to be that long this year. But yeah. All right, so I guess the kind of like process I want to do with this, like before, I just kind of want to run through all the competitors before I kind of like start eliminating one by one. This year, I think like the production side for my live stream, even though it's like not super professional, it's definitely like a little bit better, as you'll see here. I can literally just like cross off people who I don't want, or rather who I don't think will make it. But yeah, what's up, Tails? All right, let's get into it. So Osis, man, dude, super active. I think probably one of the most active people at these top 16. Like, he's been literally speedrunning every single event last year. You know, that has some definite upsides. He has a competitive kind of like aspect ingrained into his kind of style, right? So that's why he's attending all these different kind of competitions. He won the first place wildcard. I know that he also, I think he won like a couple semi-big competitions this year. He's attended like almost every single one, but he's definitely come in second a lot than I remember. I think like most recently, geez, I don't know what the most recent one was. I think he came in second right at the German Global. I don't know where he placed in the solos for. I think he was at Houghton, right? Was he? Or am I mistaken? Maybe he wasn't, but I know he definitely came in second at the global category for Germany. But yeah, he's been like super active. Obviously, I think he's like one of the favorites. I want to say like one of the top 5 favorites, I think, in my opinion, to kind of like come into this huge fucking competitive solo bracket on top, right? I think he will probably make top 8 for sure, because I feel like at this point, like just because of how much experience he has live in person, he's kind of like grinded out that kind of thing where when people first start to attend like international events, they kind of have like the nerves. I think he's kind of past that now, and he kind of like found comfort in like the competition itself, right? So on top of that, his style overall is just very well suited for battling, and I think it's still overall, regardless of like how much we've kind of seen him like overexposure in like the last year, it's still relatively fresh, and I think very his flow is like second to nobody. So I think his style overall is probably one of the best for a battle competition out of all these top 16. And the fact that he's been kind of like attending so many different things in the last year shows to me that he's like super hungry, and I think he'll be a force to be reckoned with, like honestly. So I think like Osis will definitely be in the top 8. I think it would probably take a... There is a world where he couldn't, like he won't make it, simply because of the competition here, right? Like it's the most prestigious event in the world. This is probably as close to Hotten was this year, and Hotten was like, oh my god, Hotten was like top triple S tier in terms of like attendees and how competitive that was, right? So this is like next to that, I think. So yeah, the only way he would make it is if 8 other people have an even better elim than he can possibly have. So that's the only way I can see him not making it. But for now, I'll definitely put him in top 8. All right, Abois, you know, relatively new to the scene. I think he's from Saudi Arabia, one of the Middle Eastern countries, right? I know he's a champion of his home country. Came to GBB where he was relatively unknown, but had some super sick wildcards for that competition. Ended up coming in 4th place, and I think he surprised a lot of people at that competition. He kind of had like that King Inertia run, if that makes sense, that when KI had his run in 2021, right? KI also made it to top 4, came in 4th place, surprised a lot of people that year. Abois was kind of similar to that. It's kind of like Osis, super fresh style, like very unique, cool sounds and stuff. With me saying that though, I don't know like how he did at Hotten because I haven't seen all the solo battles yet. I haven't gotten around to watching those, so I don't really know how he fared there. My fear with Abois though is, bring up Inertia again, is that he does have this fresh style, but I'm kind of fearing that he might be a little bit too repetitive, which might have an impact on how he performs this year compared to how he did in 2023. If he kind of comes in with what he did in 2023, that'd be great, but you know, it is the most prestigious event, and if you don't kind of like reinvent yourself in some sort of way, it might hinder you in the long run. So that's kind of my fear with Abois. So I'm honestly kind of on the line here with him. Like I can see him definitely making it, but I also wouldn't be too surprised if he just kind of narrowly didn't make it. If he made like 9th or 10th. So for now, I'll have him in, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't make top 8. All right, so Steady. Super crazy wildcard. I can't remember if this guy won the South Korean championship. I can't remember. I know that Huckle did like a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if he's the actual winner this year or last year. But yeah, he had a super sick wildcard. He has very interesting kind of style. I think he's like a wildcard, I think, for this year. I think he can definitely have like that swagger and the confidence on stage. And I think that the fact that he doesn't attend like international events at all, I think will be a huge upside, because this will be like the first time he had exposure for a lot of people, I think. And kind of like how Abois came in last year, this will be like a lot of people's first introduction to him, and I think that could be really beneficial to the crowd, right? So with me saying that, I don't really know like how he'll fare, because I haven't seen too much of him in a live setting, so I don't know like what to expect from him in like that kind of setting, because I've seen most of his stuff online, and that's obviously a completely different beast, different game completely. So I'm unsure of Steady right now. So I'm just gonna put like a question mark. Ooh, that's way too big. I'm gonna put like a question mark here for him right now. And I'll come back to him as well. All All right, so Den. Oh, man. All right, so Den's been here. He's been here a couple times now. Den, I feel like he's due for a big win at some point because he never made it to the battles before. Like, he got eliminated through the elimination phase, but also he had some really, really strong showings in online battles. But, you know, as we say, online and in person is completely different. So, yeah. And the thing about Den, though, is, like, his kind of style is very difficult. Like, his kind of style requires, like, perfect pitch because of all, like, the bass lines and the vocals that he uses. So if he's off by a little bit, it could literally throw off his entire performance, which is kind of unfortunate, but, like, that's how he chooses to beatbox. Like, that's his identity as a beatboxer. And as we've seen in the past, the reasons why he didn't make it through limbs is because of reasons like that, right? Like, his overall, like, beatbox style is very difficult to do in a live setting. He's very powerful online because you have infinite amount of takes to get it right. And because of that, you know, it's really hard to overcome, I think. But the last time I seen Den was GBB. It's been a year. So I think it's very much possible that he's probably improved in that area. Like, a complete version of Den would be to perfect the, like, the pitch control, right? Of his basses and his vocals. Like, the way he does his melodies and whatnot. So I can see him just narrowly making it in, or also making, like, top 10. But for now, for the sake of the video, the live stream rather, I don't want to make this, like, too long. I'm gonna say Den doesn't make it right now. So yeah, Den is probably my first elim here, I think, unfortunately. You know, fellow Canadian, I really like his style, but I've just seen it too many times. Like, his style is just so hard to pull off live, and I think, like, just based on who we have here in the 16, it's a tough top 16 here. So yeah. All right, moving on. Pac-Max, you know, absolutely fucking crazy. Top 2 world championships last year. You know, French champion previously. He won something else. I don't know if it was a Florida vocal, something along those lines. But yeah, he's been pretty active in the last couple of years as well, you know, competing at a very high level, and winning a lot. So I think he's on the up right now. So I think Pac-Max will make it through. I think he's like a safe bet, I think, as of, like, today. So yeah, there's nothing really else to say about Pac-Max, but yeah, I think I'll make it through. I don't know what Swiss Beatbox is doing, bro. Yeah, their marketing is kind of, I don't really have any comments on that. I have no idea, but yeah, I think it's, like, GBB is pretty established, so I don't really think they have to do too much. But yeah. All right, Helium, man. Helium is going to be one of those crowd favorites, I think. An absolute veteran of the GBB scene. Had some monumental epic battles in the past. I think most recently the one against King Inertia in 2021. Yeah, Helium's another one, like, kind of like Den. I feel like he's due for a big win at some point, because I don't think he's really won anything, like, major outside of, like, the Russian championships, right? I think he's like I think he won it a couple times, right? A while back. So when it comes to, like, international stuff, I don't really remember Helium winning anything, which is kind of crazy because you think of Helium and, like, he's probably, like, top 5, top 10 beatboxer in the entire planet for a lot of people. So I think he will probably make it through. Also, I can also see him not. If he kind of sticks to, like, the Helium kind of style and he doesn't try anything, like, too ambitious, I think he'll probably make it through. But I can also see him not. So just, like, steady, I'm gonna put a question mark for Helium right now. But yeah. All right, Improver. All right, no bias here. Improver is my favorite solo beatboxer. I think he's probably, no, not anymore. I was gonna say he was probably one of the most underrated, but at this point in time in his career, he's not underrated anymore. He's pretty well established. All right, I don't want to spoil anything, but I think he won a major, super major competition very recently, if I'm correct. I haven't seen the battles yet, but I think he won something huge very recently, which is very, very good for his kind of presence here, you know what I mean? What's up, Sontech? What up, bro? Yeah, you can watch it live on their channel once it starts. I don't know if it's members only. I don't think it is, but yeah, they'll be live streaming it. I don't know if I should say. You guys can figure it out. But the videos aren't live yet, so I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But I'm pretty confident he's won something huge very recently. So yeah, my stock into Improver right now is very high. Not only is he my favorite beatboxer, but I think he has that kind of style that's very very powerful for a live stage, right? And very fun and entertaining to listen to, honestly. So he's very effective in a battle with his style. He has a lot of range too. Like, he can sing, he can do lows, he can do highs, he has really good melodies. He has it all. He's like the full package beatboxer, but his kind of technicality is very new school. And yeah, he's just so fucking good. So I'm gonna say he's in 100%. Kind of like Helium though, if he kind of sticks to Improver and doesn't try something that he's not really comfortable with yet, I think he'll comfortably get in. But yeah, if he comes in with something like too ambitious, he can definitely not make it in. We kind of seen that with him in 2021. He got like 9th or 10th or something. He did something like he tried to play to the crowd too much. And like the kind of set he created wasn't that great. But if he kind of just sticks to his guns and like does Improver stuff, then I think he'll make it in for sure. 100%. All right, Stitch. Man, I haven't seen too much of Stitch lately. He has very good wall cards. I'll say that for now. His wall cards are very good. When it comes to live performances, he's pretty confident. I like his kind of range as well, just like Improver. He has very good range. I think Stitch's kind of tech is very underrated because he doesn't showcase it nearly as much as someone like Improver, where Improver's identity is almost intertwined with a technical kind of style, right? Stitch is like very musical. That's his like main kind of thing. But he also has very good tech. So he also has like that kind of full package, right? But it's tough. It's tough because I don't think, like, looking at everyone here, he has some cool special sounds, but I think that when it comes to like certain areas of beatbox, I think that a lot of people here do things that Stitch does, but a little bit more, they're a little bit better at it, I think. With all due respect, like, you know, this is like the best beatboxers in the world, so but you know, he could also surprise me because he is kind of unique. He's very different in some areas that could make him stand out. It just really depends on, like, because this is elimination, it really depends. Like, he could surprise a lot of people, but if he kind of just goes down that route of being like really battle-y kind of technical approach for his elimination, he could definitely get drowned out by everyone else who's, I think, is a little bit better at doing that kind of style. But if he comes in with like a very musically oriented piece while like kind of, you know, peppering in little technical parts, then yeah, he could fare very well. But I'm going to put a question mark for him right now. What up, Maris? What's up, Omega? What up, boys? All right, Wing. Ooh, I think he might be the favorite for the crowd, I think. Like, you just look at the pop-off that the Japanese crowd have for Wing every time he goes here. He's an absolute veteran. He's been around the block, you know. He's been here for a very, very long time. He's been at the top of the game for a long time. He's a previous Hotton champion in 2023. Yeah, which is probably the competition that got him here, right? Or no, he came in third, so he's here. He came in third last year for GBB, so that's why he's here. But yeah, Wing, We're gonna be one of the favorites. Just like Osis has a super sick flow, one of the best flows in the beatbox scene. I think he's in. Like, he has to fuck up monumentally, I think, to not get in. But he's very consistent, so I have full confidence that he'll probably make it through. So yeah, we'll just move on. We don't really need to say anything else about Wing. Like, he's probably through for sure. Yo, Simo, you should probably like DM someone about that, because like the info is not public, but they are confirmed from the competitors themselves. I might talk about it here actually on live stream, because it is only 6 days away. But yeah, we won't talk about loops for a little while. We're just doing the solo stuff first. But yeah, to answer your question, the battles are they are set up already. All right, Jillard. All right. Yeah, so obviously coming from the under 18 last year, winning that competition pretty convincingly, I want to say. I don't really think anybody knew who this guy was. Well, yeah, I say people knew who he was, but like in terms of like you know, the general audience, like the more casual beatboxers who just kind of tune into the bigger events, probably didn't know who this guy was, right? So yeah, he's an absolute beast. Obviously very young, has the top tier experience now from winning under 18 though. So, you know, confidence has kind of grown from winning such a massive event. So he's kind of like a wild card for me, but just based on like all the other competition here, I'm actually going to say he probably won't make it through, simply because just look at all the other names here, and there's only 8 spots at the end of the day. He could have like a very crazy elimination here and make it through, but I don't really see him kind of putting himself over all these other guys who are kind of like been there, done that, you know, at the very top level for so long. So yeah, I'm gonna say no for Jillard. What's up, Remix? What up, brother? You're more interested in producer than loop? I think producer is going to be the most competitive, because there's only 4 people, and any one of those 4 guys could win, honestly, at the end of the day. So yeah, Jillard almost won French champs, but again, you got to remember who all these guys are, right? And there's only 8 people that can get through at the end of the day. So yeah, it is what it is. Like, if you don't make it through to top 8, like you still made it to top 16 for GBB, which is crazy. All right, so next up here, Alexinho. Fuck, that's crazy, bro. I think out of everyone here, Alexinho might have the most Grand Beatbox Battle experience. I remember watching Alexinho back in 2017 when I was at Grand Beatbox Battle. Like, this is how long this guy's been around competing at the highest level. Alexinho got in because he won the 7 to Smoke last year. So, which is fucking impressive, because I think that's like his 4th time he won the 7 to Smoke. So he's a beast, still a beast, and he will always probably be the beast if he continues the battle, right? So he just has that fucking crazy battle style, right? He trolls, but it's so super effective, because the way he trolls is that he likes to mock and mimic his opponent, and he does it so like effectively, which is great because it doesn't come off as like disrespectful. It's actually very entertaining to listen to, and is very effective the way he does it. So he's a very dangerous opponent, I think. So if he can make it through the eliminations, I think he'll be a force to be reckoned with in the battles against anybody, because I think like he can match up against a lot of people, like most people here. Yeah, he doesn't really have like any super big glaring weaknesses, I think, that can probably hold him back here. Maybe if he leans too hard into the trolling aspect in the elim, it could potentially harm him, but I don't think he'll do that so much in the elimination. I know he'll probably do it if he makes it through to the battles, which is fine, because that's who he is. Like, that's his identity. But yeah, other than that, I want to say he'll probably make it through as of right now. So I'm going to put him in for the top 8, like as of right now. Yeah, as we go like through these top 16, I'm going to obviously have to come back, maybe adjust some. The ones that I'm crossing it right now, I'm not going to adjust because I feel like they're probably not. So yeah. For right now, I'm going to put him in. If he doesn't freestyle? Yeah. Yeah. I never really thought about that, actually, because, like, Napalm does a very similar thing. Napalm freestyles a lot, but... yeah, I think he'll probably make it through, bro. Like, honestly. Alright. Kaji. I think he got in from... Beatland, right? Yeah, I think it was Beatland. I haven't seen too much of him since then. That was a year ago now at this point, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, he's kind of like a wall card for me, honestly. He has the experience. He won last year in Saracani, right? But that was a crew dynamic. This is a solo dynamic, so he has a very interesting kind of style. You know, I always kind of describe it as like that chaotic Japanese kind of style. But yeah, I don't really know what to expect in terms of like routines that he potentially could have came up with since then. I know that he has the confidence for the stage. His style overall is very deeply rooted in a battle kind of style, so I have like no doubts in my mind that he'll be good in that kind of scenario. Just the like elimination kind of side, I'm kind of unsure of Kaji right now, so I'm gonna put a question mark for him. I don't really know what to expect from him in terms of like the elimination, but I would not be surprised if he made it through, because he has a lot of experience on the big stage, so I think like confidence will be a huge thing, and also his style overall is very good, well suited for the battles, you know what I mean? So all right, Maxo competed last year, I think made like top just narrowly missed the top 16. I'm pretty sure. I think he made like 17th or something, or did he make it through the battles? I can't remember. I don't think he did. You guys can correct me, but I think he missed it last year. But he did win Florida very recently. Yeah, he's kind of that category of like Osis for me, right? Like he has a very sick flow. He's very clean. Very like his style overall is very technical in a sense. Yeah, I think like very fresh, you know, like very, very powerful too. And he has a lot of swag in his like stage presence as well. So I can definitely see him getting through. But I also wouldn't be surprised just based on like the competition here if he like narrowly didn't make it in, you know. So he's kind of like on that line for me, but I'm gonna say yes for now because I still think like he offers a lot and he does some things better than other people here. So for now, I'm gonna say yes. I think yeah, Ryan, I think Maxo's videos are out, right? I think it's okay to say that. Yeah, Remix, you battled Kaji, right? If I remember correctly, in the finals. Do you guys know exactly like what the judging criteria is for this year? If it is what I think it is, it's probably going to be the same as it was the last couple of years, right? Just like the originality, musicality, just stuff like that, you know, like stage presence. Originality is probably like a huge factor though, like most of the time. All right, so black roll. Okay. All right, this one is interesting because he's kind of been blowing up very recently because of both his online and offline presence, right? I think he He's here because he won Vocal, I'm pretty sure, if that's the one. He's won something that got him elimination spot here, right? So, but also he's kind of having a crazy run in Show Me Your Masterpiece right now, which is an online competition created by Hiss. So, oh, Great North. Thank you. Great North. So yeah, I'm going to be honest, I don't watch too much of Black Roll, so I don't really have like a huge opinion on this guy. I haven't seen enough from him, but what I have seen from him is very positive. Like, he's very powerful. That's like one of the biggest things I can say, like I can take away from what I've seen from him. He's a very powerful beatboxer. With me saying that, I don't really know. I can't really think of anything that kind of makes him stand apart from everyone right now. Because I haven't simply seen enough from him. So, with that being said, I'm going to have to put like a question mark for him. But I would not be surprised if he made it through. He also won Vocal? Okay, that's what I thought. I forgot about Great North, though. That's definitely makes more sense that he'd get in through Great North, though. Out of those four, yeah. I don't know. If you're putting it between those four, it's either Maxo or Black Roll for sure. But yeah. All right, moving on. Remix. All right. I think Remix got in from the South African Championships, if I remember correctly. I haven't seen those battles yet, so I can't really say like can't really like comment on how he did there. But I'm pretty sure that's how he got in, right? Yeah, this one's tough. I don't really know because I haven't seen him too much of him lately in terms of like in person, but I will say this for sure. I remember watching Remix back in like the online. I think it was like GBB 2020 online, and like that's one of my first introductions to Remix. Like back then, he was very like he was very creative with his kind of sounds, but he had that problem, right? Like back then, he had that problem of spamming. But you watch him progress over the years, like fast forward 4 years, that's pretty much almost completely gone now. Like he's transformed into a very well-structured, fluid kind of beatboxer. So, yeah. Oh man, this is tough because you think of Remix, the very first thing, at least I think of Remix, is bass lines, right? Like crazy fucking sounds. We've seen people like King Inertia in the past, back in 2021. Very similar kind of style, do very well. So if Remix can kind of really hone in to that kind of fucking style in elimination, it could be a very huge crowd pleaser, right? Because people fucking love that stuff. So yeah, but however, he's also evolved significantly more past just being like, you know, a bass heavy kind of beatboxer. Like he has that good technicality. He has very good structure now. He has even in more recent like wildcards and stuff, very like musically oriented now. Even though it's like not his like most prominent kind of like feature as a solo beatboxer, he definitely has that in his arsenal now too. So he's turning into a complete beatboxing artist now. So this is tough. This is tough because this is GBB. This is top 16. This is for top 8. Yeah, this is tough. I can easily see him making it through to top 8 if he has a very solid elimination, because he has all the tools in his arsenal to kind of succeed in that area. But so does everyone else. So he's going to have to be, like, I think a Remix, he's going to have to be a question mark right now for me, because it really just depends on how he does his elimination. If he can make himself like stand out a lot, he can easily get in because he has all the tools to do it. So, yeah. Yeah, KBA, that's a good fucking question, bro. I mean, at that point, bro, he just has to change his name. You're bringing the base. I hope so, bro. All right, so Krebsley, yo. Before I seen this list, I had no idea this dude was even in. So what did Krebsley win to get in, guys? So I have no idea. I'm familiar with Krebsley, like I know who this guy is. Like I've heard him many times in the Japanese scene, but I don't really know the competition that got him in. Oh, Beat City. Was that last year or was that this year? I don't remember Beat City this year. So I'm pretty up to date most of the times. This year? Okay. All right, so this guy, he's the biggest wild card here, I think. Along with Kaji, he is the only local beatboxer here that's going to be representing Japan in the solo category, at least. So obviously when it comes to like competition, you know, being in your own home country is hugely beneficial when it comes to like crowds. Just like, you know, you're gonna have like the crowd at your side, right? Is like, it's pretty much the case with everything you think about, like sports and stuff and whatnot. It's a very similar kind of situation. So he's definitely gonna have the crowd on his side, I'd imagine. He might get a similar kind of pop off that like Wing would, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if Wing had the biggest pop off for solo, honestly. But yeah, Krebsley is definitely going to be one of the crowd favorites, I think, just because of it being in Japan, right? So yeah, but in terms of like what he actually brings to the table in an elimination, complete wild card for me. I have no idea what to expect from Krebsley. He can come in and absolutely fucking surprise everyone and blow everyone's minds and make like top 4 or something in the elimination phase. But also he can kind of like come in and, you know, do okay and not make it into the top 8. So yeah, for that reason, I think I'm going to have to eliminate him. Just because I see everyone else's name here and he's probably one of the biggest unknowns here for me. And that doesn't really instill like super confidence in me that he's gonna come up here and fucking destroy everyone else, right? It is what it is. It's a group of killers, so you know, people got to you know, some people got to get out, so yeah. Yeah, Kaji is Japanese. You see Krebsley as a decoy in 2021? Interesting. I eliminated 3 to 16? Correct. I have. I have a bunch of question marks by people who are kind of unsure of right now. But yeah, that's like a single pass through right now. So, all right. Going back to the top here now. Ooh. Actually, instead of doing that, I'm just going to eliminate... Okay, I think one of the Japanese guys are going to get in. I just feel it. Ah, man. Actually, I don't know. That's crazy. Can you imagine, like, a solo without Japan when there's, like, 2 eliminations from Japan? I mean, I guess it's not too crazy, but... For some reason, I feel like there's always going to be, like, some sort of fucking... shenanigans happening, but at the same time I wouldn't, so I'm gonna eliminate Kaji. I'm gonna say that there's gonna be no Japanese representatives in the top 8. What's up, Aaron? How's it going, bro? Solo is the most unpredictable. Yeah, I can agree with that, actually. I was going to say, like, crew is probably unpredictable, but that's, like, more of a me thing, because it's probably, like, the most unsure I've been out of all the competitions. Because I don't know, like, a lot of the people in crews. Doing good, bro. We're just going through all the GBB stuff here. Alright, I'm going to eliminate Stitch as well, guys. Like, I like Stitch a lot, and I think he's probably one of the most unique out of everyone here. But based on what I've seen from him in the past, I think that, again, like I said, I think some people here do things better than he does. And I don't think that his kind of like unique styles will be as effective as it was back in like 2021 or 2023. So for that reason, I'm going to eliminate Stitch as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, we got to eliminate 3 more. Oh man, this is tough. This is tough. Alright, so I'm going to circle people who I think is guaranteed safe. I think Osis is definitely getting in. I think Wing is definitely getting in. Actually, let me make that smaller. Eliminate Steady. Yeah, I'm on the fence for him. Like, I think he could definitely come in and surprise a lot of people. But also, looking at everyone else here, like, the reason there's a question mark there by him is because I think he can probably be in that line of, like, 6 to 10 very easily. They can easily make it through, but it could also easily not. Just based on, like, the competition here. Black Roll 100% in. A lot of people are high on Black Roll. I just simply haven't seen enough from him, so... Like, I haven't been watching a lot of stuff that he's been doing lately, so I can't really have, like, a full, concrete, like, you know, opinion on him right now. And also, like, this is my prediction, so, like, I don't want to have to just judge it by the chat all the time, you know? Yeah, I've heard he's super powerful live. That's, like, one thing I have heard from him. I'm not doing producer until last, also, by the way, KBA. So if you're going to be around here, you're going to be here for a little while. I think producer is going to be the most competitive, simply because, like, right now, I feel like everyone, like, any one of the 4 could win it. Like, that's, like, producer is going to be fucking crazy. That's the one I'm looking most forward to. Like, to watch. Yeah, for sure. What's up, Stride? What's up, brother? Alright. Yeah, I think... Yeah, now I'm thinking about it more. I think, like, Steady will probably be one of those guys that makes it just narrowly outside of the top 8. Maybe because he just doesn't have, like, a lot of, like, international experience, and maybe that will have some sort of impact, because I think, like, skill-wise, he can definitely do it. It's just, a lot of factors come into play when it comes to these kind of competitions, you know? But, you know, he might have, like, Giga Chad energy and just come in and fucking destroy, you know? But it is what it is. For now, yeah. Just narrowly outside top 8. I'm gonna say Improver definitely gets in, because he's been on a fucking tear lately, and also I'm a little bit biased, so take that as you will. I think Pac-Max gets in for sure too. I can't really see Pac-Max not getting in. I'm gonna say Alexinho definitely gets in. Tails, I'll say this, brother. Improver has won a very, very prestigious competition very recently. So. Maybe if you watch that, maybe your opinion will change. But Helium is a question mark because he's kind of been there, done that, but also always came up short. So I don't really know, like, how Helium's going to fare this time. Is he going to kind of, like, continue his kind of performances as he has last time? I know, like, in his battle against King Inertia, some people actually thought he won that. I probably actually had that opinion at one point. I can't really remember. It's been a while. I'm very far removed from that, but I know it was a very close battle for sure. But Helium, yeah, I just don't know, man. Like I said last time, if he doesn't stray away too much, if he doesn't try to be like overly ambitious for his elim, he just kind of like sticks to his comfort zone, I think he'll have a very good shot. But who knows? That is true, KBA. I can't deny that. People always improve, especially from like a year-to-year basis. Like who they are as an artist from last year definitely doesn't reflect who they are now, for sure. But I also like to think of like how they fared last time, because like they've been there before, right? For sure. But you're right, it doesn't really like matter overly too much. Yeah, I haven't seen that video yet, Samuel. So I can definitely see Helium making it, for sure. Man, this is tough. This is really fucking tough. Yeah, I think Trung Bao had like a pretty fucking rough experience the last time he tried, or sorry, last time he competed. I think like he had like crazy nerves, and also like his mouth was like incredibly dry or some shit. I can't remember what the story was for that. But that is a good example of someone who's like immensely talented, just kind of like faltered, had a bad day or whatever in the elimination phase. Like it happens. But someone like Helium, I guess it is possible for him to have a bad day, but I feel like he's done it so much that it's less likely compared to other people. He is human, like everyone's human at the end of the day, right? So, all right, we have to eliminate 2 here. I don't want to take too long, so I don't want this to be like a 4-hour stream. So, that's so tough, bro. All right, I gotta start thinking like super fucking like analytical here. So elimination is going to be the first time you show any content for this event. So someone like Aboice, who's very relatively new in terms of like you know, presence in the scene, very fresh, and having his stuff be like the first time you see it is in elimination, I think works so well for him, because my biggest fear for Aboice always been like being too repetitive, right? So I think he'll probably make it through the eliminations, but I also do fear that if he does make it through to the battles, the further along it goes, I fear like he might fall victim to the repetition. But it is what it is. But for that, you know, I think he'll be very powerful. One of the best, I think, for the eliminations, because he already has that confidence. He has the experience from last year as well, and people know what he's about. So he also had a very good showing on Hot 10 as well. So yeah, I think he'll probably make it through. I disagree, Lewis. I disagree for solo. It can lose you battles for sure. You kind of seen that with King Inertia. He faltered out in the top 4. Like, repetition is not a bad thing. Like, it is like very stylistically, it could just be like the kind of identity you have as a beatboxer, right? But when it comes to battles and competition, if you're overly repetitive, if your rounds and routines are too similar, it's definitely going to take a hit from the judges for solo, for sure. especially in a competition like this, right? Like this is the most prestigious competition ever, and you can't win by just doing the same shit all the time, right? So all right. King Inertia had a lot more experience before that, Barb. King Inertia's been around for a while. King Inertia won Great North to get into GBB that year. First big event? I'd say Great North is a big event too, bro. I mean, GBB is the biggest event of all, so... I mean... First Grand Beatbox battle is probably, like, the better thing to say. Alright, guys. This is one might upset some people, but I'm gonna have to do it. I think Maxo would just barely not make it. He definitely has everything. He has everything, but only 8 can make it. Alright, I'm doing this too. It hurts me, but I can see a world where Helium doesn't make it through either. Oh, that means these two automatically get in. I can see Helium. Okay, so I think like Maxo and Helium, out of everyone else that we crossed off, I think is probably the most likely to switch out with some of these people. No Steady? Yeah. Steady's just too big of an unknown right now. Nah, I think Backmax would get in over Steady, bro. Steady could get in. Like, Steady could come in here and fucking destroy everyone, but... Like, everyone, guys, honestly, like, any one of these 16 guys could literally come in here and fucking absolutely rip the stage. Like, no questions, but you gotta remember, at the end of the day, this is, like, the most prestigious event. This is the highest, like, most highly competitive competition in the entire beatbox scene. Like, all these guys clawed their fucking way up here to make this spot, so... At the end of the day, only 8 can make it. But yeah, people like Pac-Max. Pac-Max has been on an absolute fucking tear lately. So it's really hard to look at Pac-Max and not put him through. But yeah, this is roughly my top 8 right now. Maxo, Helium could also replace some people. But yeah. Alright, I'm going to take a very short pee break, guys. I'll be right back. All right. All right, so now that we have our top 8, we're going to have to... This is the tricky part. This is the thing that sucks because obviously they're going to be battles, so we don't know who's battling who here. So we can't really go by, or I rather can't really go by who I think would win a battle against each other because it's just simply we don't know who it is going to be, right? Like these top 8 might not actually be the top 8 that's competing, so we're going to have to just do the same thing I've been doing here. We're going to have to eliminate them one by one. So yeah, if you guys are just kind of tuning in right now, this is the top 8 who I have right now, who I think will probably make it through to the battles. Obviously, there's some room for error here. You know, a couple of these guys could be swapped out, but right now, just for the sake of picking top 8, this is who I think has the best chance, I think, to make top 8 right now, today. So, now we're going to eliminate them one by one again until we reach the just one left, right? So, all right. All right, so right off the bat, ooh. All right. I think Remix will probably lose a quarter battle. I think he'll do very well. But just looking at all these guys, I think they're very, very fucking scary, you know? Especially someone like Alexinho, who has so much experience. I think it'll be a tough matchup for him. Yeah. I'm going to eliminate that voice as well. I think he's very good, but I don't know if he did enough in the last year to kind of set himself apart from what he's kind of shown already. You know what I mean? Like, we know what he's about. He has style, obviously, but, you know, kind of like King Inertia, I feel like he might falter out a little bit, and maybe sooner this year than he did last year. So, yeah, I'm going to eliminate Aboyce in the top 8. Alright, as much as I love Improver, I'm going to have to eliminate Improver as well. Simply because he just won something very massive very recently, and I don't know if he has, like, I don't know how much more he could have possibly prepared for this since his last, like, massive event he won, you know what I mean? Like, he can still use, like, same rounds. But, yeah, I just don't know, like, how much of an impact that would have on his performance for this event, right? Like, he could be fatigued, he could, or, you know, he could be, like, completely opposite and be, like, even more motivated, like, have a new, still confidence in him to, you know, get even better. But, as much as I love Improver, he's my favorite solo beatboxer, I just can't see him making it all the way so soon removed from an even... so far removed from a fucking even more prestigious competition. Maybe not even more, but like on that fucking tier, you know? I'm trying to talk about it without spoiling what it is. It's so fucking hard because the videos aren't public yet, so I can't really say what he's done recently, but all I'll say is that Improver has won something massive very recently, and I don't know if that's going to have an impact on how he performs here for GBB, so I'm going to be on the later side and say that he's going to be a little bit fatigued maybe, and that might impact his performance here, maybe in terms of like the material he brings to the table. I don't know what it is, but I feel like he still has what it takes, obviously, to make it all the way, but for now, just for the sake of that, I'm going to say he gets eliminated in the first round. What up, Voquid, brother? What's up, man? Alexinho will probably fuck around in freestyle. Maybe. Maybe. Who knows? All right, this one's tough. All right, so, all right, here it is, guys. Like, for me, I don't know enough about Black Roll. I know a lot of people are high on this guy, but I just don't know enough about him, so. What I have seen from him, though, like, he's been on the uprise, and I definitely want to respect that. But to win a battle in the top 8, which he's very much capable of doing, I know for sure. Just for me, I haven't watched him enough, so I can't really say. So, since it is my list, I'm going to have to eliminate him. For sure. It makes no sense for me to have him in, because I haven't seen enough of him. Alright. Top 8. I'm eliminating Alexinho. Yeah. That makes the most sense for me, I think. He can definitely make it to the finals for sure. But yeah, he has that kind of like napalm effect, I think. He definitely trolls. It works out sometimes, but maybe he takes it a little bit too far. Like some people said, he does like to freestyle a lot. But yeah, if he definitely comes in with like really thought out routines, he could definitely like push it to the end, right? But he's been around for a while, and there's not many people who's been around for that long who can still compete at the very highest of the high level. So yeah, I'm gonna have to eliminate Alexinho in top 4. I think someone predicted this, but yeah, I'm gonna have to do this. I think it might be an Osis Wing final. Man, these two guys, bro, are like, they're at the highest level of like the current kind of like scene right now. Like Wing has just been an absolute fucking dominant force. Like a previous Hot 10 winner, you know, like competing at the highest levels for so long. And he just has that fucking swagger. I think like Wing is due. Like he came top 3 last year. He's just due to win. I think. Then Osis has been attending literally every fucking competition around the world. Like in the last year. Like he's been everywhere. Like if you guys organize like a competition in your fucking mom's basement, he'd probably show up. Like he's fucking so active, bro. And like his style is just so fresh and so good for battles. And he has that swagger, he has that confidence just like Wing. So I think that would be such a sick battle. If these guys made it through, they could potentially meet up in like the top 8 too, so. But out of these two, man, like I feel like it's gonna be Wing. Like I just see Wing winning this year. I see like this kind of situation, you know, like when fucking similar to like when D-Lo won when he made it to the finals in like 2018 against like Codfish, he won the next year, and like kind of similar to like River making it to the finals and winning like the year after that Collapse did. I know Wing like came in 3rd place, but it's just giving me that energy. It's just giving me that energy. I have that feeling. Because like I feel like when you get that close to something like unleashes in your brain, you know? Like that's the only thing you fucking want. Like you become obsessed. Like I don't know Wing personally. Like I never fucking talked to the dude before, but I'm just gonna like kind of like, you know, spitting my fucking thoughts in my head right now. But that's the kind of energy I get from this. Like he's been close. And I feel like he wants it more than anything. So I can see it like becoming a reality. But yeah. That's a good prediction, I think, for solo for me at least. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got for solo, guys. Wing. I guess I'll update this too. So in order, I'll just do this. Yeah. So from left to right. Oops. All right, let's move on to tag team. All right. Dan is winning this year. We'll see. All right, cool. Let's get into it. All right, so right off the bat, I want to say this is very Japanese favored category right now. We have 4 of the 7 teams being from Japan, so that's a huge deal, because obviously the event being in Japan means like at least half these teams get a really good, a lot of support from the crowd. So, all right. So out of all these teams right here, I'd imagine this is going to be a top 4, right? Like 70 limbs, top 4 makes the most sense. I think that's fair to say, right, guys? I think that's probably already confirmed. Top 4, right? Just want to make sure before we start here. I can't really see it being anything else. Assuming they're doing a battle, right? It's not going to be like showcase battle or anything. All right, I'll just assume it's top 4. So right off the bat, starting off with Uma, I think they had the first place wildcard, right? That makes the most sense, actually. I think they did, because it goes to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then the previous winners. Or sorry, the runner-ups of last year. So yeah. Uma came in first place for the wildcard competition. I actually didn't see their wildcard until a little bit later, like a couple months after it came out. Absolutely fucking blew my mind. These guys came out of nowhere, so I don't know who they are individually, and I don't remember seeing much of them before then. I think I saw them like one time in a Japanese competition. I think it was something like it wasn't Beat City. I think it was the Japan All-Star Cup thing that they had going on. But I know they have some experience live. Outside of like that one time I saw them live and their wildcard, I don't really know what to expect from them. They're a complete wildcard for me. Like, they're probably one of the most unknowns for me here out of all these guys. But just judging them based on their wildcard, fucking crazy. Like, that wildcard was absolutely mind-blowing. Like, technicality-wise, at least. They were definitely, like, lacking in some areas, but in terms of, like, battle style and pure, like, technical fucking skill, these guys are just top level. Like, they have crazy chemistry in terms of like combinations and structure for technicality. So that could go a very long way in like solo beatbox stuff, right? Like a tag team dynamic. But you got to remember at the end of the day that there is criteria that judges will be looking for. So that can only get you so far, but it definitely helps a lot, right? So if it's a top 4 situation, They're the biggest wild card for me, I think. All right, fresh tonic. We got Bookie and Pac Max. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, you know, individually, like, these guys are fucking, like, incredible, right? So, like, I remember watching these guys for the first time in the tag team, and, it's like they've been together forever. Like, they just had the instant chemistry, and it just kind of worked. So, yeah, this one's tough. This one's super tough. Like, I think I'd give him a bigger shot than Uma, because Uma's very unknown, I think, in terms of, like, what they'll actually bring to the fucking live stage. Because it's one thing to do stuff online, but you kind of have to make it translate to offline too, right? So, I think these guys are very well established already in the offline scene. And I think that actually benefits them more than Uma. Like, Uma would have more to prove, right? I guess, if that makes sense. But at least, like, in terms of, like, the audience perception of, like, who they are. But these guys are already very well established, and they've been around the block, right? They've been at, like, the highest of high competitions, and even though they're very relatively new as a tag team dynamic, just having that solo experience is very, very beneficial, I think. And now hearing them in the online setting, I wouldn't really question how they would perform live, because I already know what they do individually. I know, like, tag teams are huge, like, there's a difference, clearly. Like, you're adding another layer. I always say it's a different dynamic of kind of, you know, musical creation. Like, it's hard, but they're just so good individually that I have faith that they'd be able to kind of, you know, perform at the highest level. So I'm going to say they'll get in. I think Fresh Tonic will probably get in. Yeah. All right. Fake and autotune. Oh, man. Oh, I love this. Oh, I love their wildcard so much. Their wildcard was so good. They use, like, I don't think they did, like, any mastering to their wildcard. They literally just went into, like, a fucking, I don't know what it is, like an attic or something. Like a concrete attic or some shit. Just had, like, a lot of, like, echo and ambient noise. And just made for such, like, good sound design naturally for their wildcard. Also, they have the Terrace effect, you know? Terrace is super powerful beatboxer. His style, the way he delivers, like, his sounds, like no other. Very unique. He offers a lot to a tag team dynamic that no one else can really replicate here. Maybe Gyro. Gyro has, like, they're a whole other beast, but Terrace is, like, a huge addition to any tag team, I think. Then we have Improver. His technicality is fucking godlike. One of the best technical beatboxers in the current beatboxing today. Yeah, so here's the thing. Kind of say the same thing about Fresh Tonic as, like, Pac Max is also competing in the solo. He's also been very active. I don't know how well Improver can balance both solo and tag team. Like, I'm kind of unsure about that, especially the fact that Improver has been very active as well lately, and he also just won something that was really fucking huge. So I don't know if he's going to be fatigued to the point where doing solo and tag team would be too much, maybe. But I'm going to go off the assumption that he's prepared for both of them. Yeah, I'm gonna put... This one's gonna be a question mark too. I'll come back to it. Alright. What's up, Tenny? What's up, bro? Alright, Miko. Yeah. These guys... You guys don't understand. You probably do, but... Dude. Like... They're making it. Like, they have to. Koloa? I think that's how you pronounce his name. This dude has... one of the most, like, he has the best kind of energy I've ever seen. Like, ever. Maybe. In an online stage. Like, presence-wise. Like, this dude... Man. If you're not invested in his performance, then I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. Like, you watch this guy perform, it's fucking unbelievable. Like, he might not be, like, the best beatboxer in the world, but just the way that he carries himself on stage really sells his performances, like, super well. Better than, like, I've seen anyone ever do it. It's very aggressive in nature. It might not be for everyone, but in a battle setting, you can't ask for anything else. Like, he is the pinnacle, perfect person to have in a tag team dynamic for battles. Just sells anything. He'll sell his performance, like, perfectly. In terms of, like, how they actually, like how good they are, they have a insane battle kind of style to its core. So I think that will definitely carry them, like, performance-wise. In terms of, like, the music, oops. In terms of, like, the music, so I have no doubts in, like, that area. And also, they have a lot of experience now, too. Like, they've been through all these competitions, right, in person. They're very well known in Japan. And I think, aside from Gyro, they will probably have the biggest support from the crowd as well. So, I can't see a world where these guys don't get in. They'd have to really, like, fuck up their set, I think, to not get through. But I've seen what they've done before, and there's just, like, no world where I see them not getting through, honestly. So, yeah. I think they'll actually probably get, like, second or third. More than Ziegler? 100%. Ziegler's great. But if we're talking, like, how they perform, like, performance-wise, there's no one better than them. Alright. Putting music aside, like, not talking about music here, like, not talking about their routines that they use. I'm talking about how they perform on stage, like, how they are as a tag team dynamic on stage. They are the best out of everyone here. For sure. I'm not saying they're the best, like, in terms of music. Like, I don't think they're the best, like, beatbox-wise here. But just stage performance, like, how they perform their music, there's no one better than these guys right now. Just because of Kloa. Just because of him. He's fucking amazing. Like, amazing. So. Alright. Moving on. I don't think Future Monster will get in. I like Kira. I like CJ. I just think they're in that stage of their beatboxing careers where they aren't, like, no disrespect, I don't think they're to that point yet where they have what it takes to make it all the way, if that makes sense. Like, I think they deserve to be here for sure, but I'll look at all these other guys and it's hard for me to put them above anyone else here, unfortunately. I think they're amazing. I think CJ has a very bright future, especially in the beatbox scene for sure. But right now at his stage, I don't think he has what all these other guys have yet. He's not, like, the complete beatboxer yet. And also, like, it being a tag team, you know, adds a whole other layer. And yeah, very creative though. Like, these guys are super creative, but yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Man. All right. I love these guys. I love Ziegler. All right, we'll just do this first, actually. Gyro's getting in. 100%. I don't really need to say anything more. There's no world where Gyro doesn't make it through. I love Ziegler. I love them a lot. However, I've enjoyed their online stuff far more than their in-person stuff. Every time I see them perform in person, there's always something that's left to be desired, I feel, from their performance. Like the delivery of their vocals, just like their overall stage presence, their routines that they use. I feel like they're always more powerful online. Like just like their kind of style is always more effective in a scenario where you have multiple takes to do something. When you put them in a situation where they have to do one take for something, it's kind of where they fall apart a little bit, unfortunately. Like that's the reality of it, I feel. So I'm gonna say they're not gonna make it through. So this is just based on what I've seen from them in the last like couple of years. Like this is not a new thing. This is something that they've kind of been dealing with like ever since I've seen them for the first time. This is at the previous Grand Beatbox battle. This is at like the, I think, Japan Cup All-Stars or Beat City, one of those other events. Every time I've seen them in person, they kind of just had something where something felt off. And it's kind of crazy because they're so good offline, online. So it is what it is. All right, so it's going to be between Uma and Fake and Autotune for the last spot here. Man. All right, I'm going to do this. I think Uma was great online. I know I've seen them a bit offline and they impressed me too. Like I know they have what it takes, but yeah. I just think if it's between them and Fake and Autotune, I just think that Fake and Autotune offer a little bit more than they can. I don't think Uma would set themselves apart enough to kind of overcome these guys. So. All right. Top four. So this is crazy. This is very, very dependent on who they battle here, I think. I know we can't go by that because we don't know. Like, we can't see the future. We can't see who makes it through and who battles who, right? Because I want to say that Gyro is guaranteed to make it to top 2, but I can definitely see a world that if Gyro battled Miko, they could lose. Just because of how fucking good they are at performing. Like, Miko's stage presence could literally carry them to fucking victory alone. Like, it's that great. Like, they're that good. It's fucking crazy. I think out of these 4, Gyro's hardest matchup would definitely be Miko. For sure. I think they could probably win against Fresh Tonic and Fake and Autotune way more comfortably than they could against Miko. Yeah, so with me saying that, honestly, I'll just do this. Future Monster definitely has potential, but yeah, there's just some factors that kind of held them back for me a little bit. I don't know if Gyro can do technical routines. Like, they definitely have some technical aspects in like their own like individual beatbox skill sets, but you know, as history has shown, like these guys are definitely more into that musically oriented kind of style, which they kind of excel in so far and beyond that they don't really even need too much of like a technical kind of style to like complement it, if that makes sense. All right, so if this ends up being the finals, I think Miko would fare against Gyro far better if they met earlier in the first round. Because Miko does have the best, I think, have the best stage presence. You'd also need to, at some point, have, the musical prowess, I guess, to kind of back it up. Like, the routines you come in with need to be equally as good as how you perform it. So having less material in the finals, obviously, I think maybe they probably wouldn't have their best for last. And I think Gyro would be the most consistent out of everyone in terms of what they use. Like, their preparation-wise would probably be the most consistent in terms of the routines they come up with. I can easily see every single one of their routines being as good as the next, whether it be in the semifinals or the finals. So, yeah, I think this is another situation like we saw in the solo category where I think Wing takes it. I think Gyro can potentially win here. Coming in second last year, they can come in and win. Take it again. Or for the first time in this case. Yeah, that makes the most sense to me, I think. But yeah, again, guys, this is all these guys are they made it here for a reason. So at the end of the day, any one of these guys can win. But I think, like, for me personally, I think the best shot here at the end of the day would probably be Gyro. No, the producer category is gonna be fucking wild, bro. That's the most competitive. That's the hardest for me. All right. All right, so that's what the tag team looks like. All right, moving on to crew. This one's going to be very short. Very short, because I just don't know what to fucking expect from any of these. Like, honestly, like, crew is the most unfamiliar I've been with any category in recent memory for GBB. Like, I've been so out of touch with the crew that I just have no idea what to expect from it. All right. So we have Calorie Rangers, we have Mion, Sound of Sony, and the Young Drug. Yeah, so honestly, guys, I have no fucking idea. Like, I don't know. I have no idea whatsoever. No clue. I'm not even gonna do anything here. Like, okay, I'll do this. I don't know who the fuck the Young Drug is. I'll just do this. I have no idea who these guys are. So this is just based on me. Like, I don't know who they are. I've heard of Sound of Sony. Not too familiar with them. They look... I think that's... Is that Momimaru? Crepsley's in there. Okay, that's the middle one. So, okay. Having a Japanese team there for sure. I think they're the only Japanese team here. Hugely beneficial. Definitely have the support of the crowd. Not Momimaru? Okay. I thought GBB started with producer, bro. I thought it started with a showcase, then producer. Okay. So Mion, is that improver? Who's this? Who are these guys? I can't see by the picture. I have no idea. I don't know who these guys are. Showcase crew producer? Goddamn. Kristoff. What the fuck? That's crazy. Okay, well, I'm gonna say they don't. I don't know enough about them. Simple as that. They could be amazing, I just have no idea. I don't even think I watched, like, the wildcard winners for this. I'm just gonna go on gut instinct. I'm gonna say Cal Rangers win. Because I've seen a lot more of them out of anybody here. So, yeah. There's really not much else for me to say about the crew category, unfortunately. Like, I'm not gonna fucking bullshit my way through this one. Pretend like I know what I'm talking about, because I just simply don't. So, it is what it is. I'll just say Cal Rangers win. And just call it a day there. Alright, here we go. It's like the moment a lot of people have been waiting for here. Whew. Alright. So, here's the thing. I know who's battling each other here. So I have more insight on at least the top 8. I don't know if I should say who it is. I don't know. I feel like, me personally, I feel like it doesn't fucking matter. Like, what's the point of hiding it? But no one else has come out publicly and said who's battling who. So I don't know if, like, I want to be the person to do it and I can, like, it actually, like, matters. You know what I mean? Like, what do you guys think? Like, does it actually matter if I say, like, who battles who? Yeah. Alright, well. Okay, whatever. I'll just fucking say it. Alright, so... yeah, Rage is battling Duncan. I'll just do this. Bandon's battling Matei. Joshua was battling Yes Swede. Saijo's battling Cardona. So these are your matchups for the top 8 here. The sides of the bracket is going to be Rage, Duncan, Josho, and Yasweed. The other side of the bracket is going to be Cardona, Sideshow, 808 Bandit, and Mate. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when we're going through this here. Alright, so I guess let's start off with the left side here of the bracket. Let's start off with Josho, Yasweed. Alright, so Josho is one of the two people here that competed in the loop station category last year. All the other 6 guys are brand new to the loop station category. Even though Sideshow won, the producer, last year, he didn't compete in the loop station category. So, yeah. Doesn't really mean a lot. Like, all these guys are fucking elite tier. Like, they've competed many times before, won huge competitions, but just for the sake of, like, pointing it out, I think it's, like, fair to kind of say. Yeah, so Josho and Mate competed last year. They're the only 2 out of the 8 here that competed at the loop station category before for GBB. So we're seeing 6 new faces here. So we have Josho versus Yasweed for the first matchup here. This is a battle of styles for sure. Like they can't get any opposite from terms of styles than you can for Josho, Yasweed. I don't think Josho gets enough respect, honestly. I think like people who are true loop station fans really appreciate Josho, but I think when it comes to like the general audience and people who enjoy battles, might think Josho's a little bit boring. But I think technically he's one of the best loopers here. Like honestly, he's a fucking force to be reckoned with, and he needs to be respected. I don't think anyone's like anyone with a brain who battles this competition would take Josho lightly. So, also, I think Josho has the best voice out of everyone here. Like we see Cardona here, who utilizes vocals a lot. We see Sideshow. I think Josho has a better voice than both of them. And you know, when you're mostly a musically, you know, a looper. I know that Josho has like some battle material, but mostly he uses very musically oriented kind of routines. So having a good voice definitely helps him out in that category, right? So against someone like Yasweed doesn't sing. He usually just raps. He usually just spits his lyrics, right? He's not a singer. So Josho definitely has the advantage here in the musical category, I think, against Yasweed. But you remember, like, my opinion about that kind of stuff is that at the end of the day, it is a battle, and I think certain styles are more effective in a battle. But also, if you can kind of excel a lot in a certain kind of style, like if you can sell a lot in a musical-oriented kind of style, like we saw from Robin, you can definitely make it all the way and even win, right? I don't want to say that Josho is on that kind of like level musically as Robin. He's definitely close for sure. But Josho is also not like Robin in terms of like Robin barely ever uses battle oriented. Like we only seen it like a handful of times that Robin has ever used anything like battle oriented, right? So Josho definitely leans more into the battle kind of style than Robin ever did. So I think he's not as good though as Yasweed is in the battle category. So this is like on surface level, it's like a 50-50. Like it could really go either way here because they're both really good in certain areas. But I think at the end of the day for me, I think Yasweed will probably offer more in terms of a battle than Josho will. It's hard though. I think Josho is still underrated today. Like he doesn't get the respect he deserves. So I can see Josho winning this, but for the sake of picking someone, because for me it's really close, I'm gonna have to pick Yasweed here. Especially in the first round. I think that's a huge thing. Yasweed having all his material available at the very beginning is very beneficial for someone like him. I think. So very close battle, but I would give it slightly to Yasweed. Definitely can see Joshua making it through, though, 100%. Actually, let's not do that. Yeah, that could happen. Also, another thing to know, which is actually like, I actually completely forgot about this. I definitely should have like mentioned this before, but knowing who you're battling ahead of time is hugely beneficial, like immensely beneficial in a battle scenario, because like virtual reality just kind of said, you can plan a counter against somebody because you have time to do it, right? Because you know who you're battling. So Joshua has done stuff like that before. If you remember back in the kickback battle, he did a good round against Kristoff. Ended up losing that, which I actually thought he won that battle, but he did it before against like Kristoff, and I'm sure he's probably done it before at some point. But yeah, he can definitely do a good counter. But I'm still gonna go with Yasweed though. I just think at the start he's just. Yasweed has been on the rise, man. Like, he's been improving immensely. Joshua has as well, but I don't know, man. Something about that style of Yasweed, I think, will pull him through the battle, I think. What up, Two Bears? What's up, bro? That's fair, Maflu. I also think Joshua can win. It's literally a 50-50 for me. I'm just going to give the slight edge to Yasweed because of the more pronounced battle style, I think. But Joshua can definitely win it 100%. Without a doubt. Alright. Continuing on this side of the bracket. We got Rage and Duncan. Alright, so here's the thing. If everything goes according to what I think will happen in this battle, I think that this battle could possibly be the best battle of this category, and also has potential to be the best thing in this entire GBB. Like, I think Rage and Duncan, their battle could be the best thing coming out of GBB 2024. Only because I've heard everything. I've heard everything that Duncan has done. You know, I've heard some of Rage's stuff. I haven't heard all of Rage's stuff, but I heard some of his new material. So, you guys are in for a treat. Like, if this battle turns out the way that I think it could turn out, this is going to be fucking crazy. Like, this battle has potential to be one of the best battles of GBB ever. But this all depends on execution, right? Like, so many things could happen to make it not be like that. They could at the last minute change what rounds they want to use. Like, anything could happen. So, yeah. This one is another 50-50 for me. I know a lot of people are just saying Rage, 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 you know. You guys, trust me. I know. It is a bit biased, but it is not biased at the same time. I know Duncan's a friend of mine. Like, you've seen him a lot on this channel, but you guys haven't heard what he's done. And I'll just say this. Just wait and see. Wait and see. There is a world where Rage can come out and fucking destroy him. But there is also a world where Duncan can come out and destroy Rage. Like, let's be honest. For one, it doesn't really matter too much, but Duncan has a lot of experience. Rage has experience. Rage Rage has a lot of experience too. Rage's confidence, like the way he performs, is amazing for like where he is in his looping career, I think. I also think that Rage is one of the most innovative and creative loop artists we have in the scene today. I think that Rage will probably at one point be the best looper in the world. I don't know if it's going to be this year. It could be, though. It really could be. But you guys got to remember, all right? Like, what you hear from people online is not going to be what you hear from them in person, okay? So you got to think about that. Rage is very good. Like, I think, like, for a lot of people, what they hear from Rage is online only. Like, they haven't heard much from Rage offline. And I'm not saying that Rage will fuck up and not perform very well offline. But I can definitely see a world where the routines might not go the way that he had them go, like in prep, right? Like, for whatever factor happens, something happens on stage, nerves, I don't know. Yeah. Just like the way he inputs his sounds, you never know. But this is why this is close. Because I've heard both their material behind the scenes, so it's it has all the makeup for a fucking amazing battle. It just really comes down to how these guys execute their rounds, because either of them can take it. Rage could easily take it. Duncan could easily take it. So it's fucking close for me. It's very, very close. I've seen Rage's elim and I've seen his battle against Sidjo. So I've seen enough of it, yeah. I also seen Rage perform in other things, outside of Hot Din, so yeah. So yeah, this one's hard. It fucking sucks that these guys battle each other in the first round. But it's also great because at the same time, we're probably going to get one of the best loop battles of all GBB, like, ever. Assuming everything goes according to plan for both of them. Yeah, if Rage pulls out Who Am I, that'd be fucking crazy. Yeah, for real. I want to pick Duncan, I really do. But I also don't want to be like... Not doing it, guys. Fuck you. Duncan's my boy. I don't give a fuck. I'm a friend of Rage too. But Duncan's my friend. So, yeah, Duncan all the way, baby. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Duncan wins. Don't give a fuck. Effortlessly sweeps the floor 5-0. Not a fucking chance in hell. Duncan all the way, baby. Let's fucking go. What's up, Justin, bro? What up, man? All right, moving on to the other side of the bracket. Cardona, Sidjo. All right. Here's the thing. Sidjo is also competing in producer. This is tough for him because he has to prepare not only for solo, he has to have prepared at the minimum 6 rounds 6 rounds to use in solo. And that's if, like, he'd had to have 6 as well, even if he loses his semifinal, because he'd go to small final. So, he needs 6 rounds prepared. This means that there's a very, very high chance we're going to be hearing stuff that we heard from him before. And I noticed that Saijo, very recently, even if you look back at his win at German Champs, I think most of the rounds that he used there is stuff that we heard from him before. So, at this point, it is the first round, though. Like, there is a chance that Saijo could have something brand new prepared. That's, like, very, very fucking crazy. That he could use against Cardona here in the first round. But I have a feeling in my head, in my gut, that he's going to lose this battle. Because I find it very hard, especially for, like, looping. Because I feel like the preparation for loop is so much more than it is for solo. Like, when I say that, I mean, like, if you're in the solo category and also in a tag team, I feel like it's easier to prepare for both of those than it is for preparing for regular solo, loop station, and producer. So, I feel like he's gonna fall short in his quarterfinal battle here against Cardona. Yeah. Either that, it could go a different way where he prepares a lot for loop station, but doesn't prepare a lot for producer. But I feel like he's gonna excel more in producer, maybe potentially, because he's already the champion for that, and I think it would mean more to kind of defend his championship. So I don't know. I think, like, out of all these battles, this one's probably the biggest wild card for me. Which it really shouldn't be the case, because it's fucking Saijo. Like, looking at this here, for a lot of people, I think Saijo's probably the favorite to win. But I just honestly think that being in the producer category, as well as the solo loop station, is going to have a lot of impact on what he actually does for solo loop. Because I feel like he's not going to have, like, enough new routines to kind of pull him through. Like, I feel like we're probably going to see stuff that we saw from him in the German Champs, but, you know, which is fine. Like, it's okay, but some of those routines are a little bit older now. And I think it's, like, at this point, it's becoming, like, I don't think he can come in here and use Parasite and win the battle, right? I just think it's been overused now for competition. But yeah, I can also see him kind of coming in with new stuff as well, because it is the quarters, right? But what happens when he gets to the semis, right? Like, is that where we'll start seeing him reuse stuff, like dipping into the piggy bank and pulling out Parasite again or something? That's my kind of worry with him. So for that, I'm going to say Cardona takes it. I think it could be like a 3-2. But I just see Cardona winning, honestly. All right. So, next up we have Bannon and Matei. This one's interesting. Bannon, he has some of the most complex, like, looping routines in the scene today. I think, like, execution-wise, it's probably the hardest to do out of everyone here. So, for Bannon, it being the the quarterfinals, this is the point in time for Bannon, I think, that if he executes perfectly, he could take it all the way. But if he has any issues here in the quarterfinals, it could potentially be game over for him, I think. Maybe. That's just the kind of vibe I get from Bannon. Because of, like, the way his rounds are, they're very complicated. But I think because of the nature of them being complicated, makes them one of the most dangerous, I think. So this is all about execution for Bannon here. If he can execute perfectly, or just, like, near perfectly, I think he wins easily. But Matei is very dangerous too. He's a very laid back, very what's the word I'm looking for? Very sneaky good, you know what I mean? It's like his personality, the way he loops, he's very good, but it's just like not like up in your face fucking like overpoweringly good, you know what I mean? He just kind of like coasts his way through. Like that's the vibe I get from Matei. Like that's like kind of like what he did in like 2023, right? Like his rounds are very high level, but like he was just like up there having fun, you know? Like he didn't, just like the vibe you got from him was completely different, I felt, like from everyone else. If we get that again from Matei, he could definitely beat Bannon if Bannon doesn't like execute well, I think. So, but I do have faith in Bannon. So, yeah. If Bannon can execute his rounds, and the fact that it's like it's the first round too, he has everything, like all the prep he has available to use right now. So, because of that, I think he does beat Matei. For sure. Okay. Now. Ooh. How do I not... Oh, well, fuck it. We'll just keep it. Alright, now we have... Oop, that's not it. Cardona, Bannon. Yes, we Duncan. Alright. So, before, like, in the early wildcard winning days, like when this first got announced, it was actually seeded that Yes Weed would battle Duncan in the first round. So if they both win their battle, they'd end up meeting in the semifinals instead of the quarters this time. I thought that this potentially had the chance to be like one of the most interesting battles if it were to happen in the quarterfinals, because they both kind of troll sometimes, like with their routines. Like Duncan, like the name of Duncan's tracks and like the way he like utilizes his vocals and stuff with his tracks is definitely like meme territory. But Yes We just fully fucking leans into it. So I think like that dynamic could have been kind of interesting. So if we do see this in the semis, I think could be really interesting. So I don't know what Yes We has prepared, but I do know what Duncan has prepared. And if he does make it through Rage, he'd be a good matchup against Yes We, I think, for sure. For sure. I think that Duncan could beat Yes We for sure. But Yes We could also beat Duncan, but I think Duncan has a better shot to beat Yes We, honestly. In my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna have to pick Duncan here. For sure. Bannon, Cardona. So yeah, if Bannon makes it through to the semis, I think there'll be a lot of confidence instilled in him, and I think his ability to kind of execute would definitely be better. I think the nerves will be shaken off, and I think he'll probably beat Cardona pretty convincingly, I think. Yeah. Yeah, Lumos. I've also seen some Rage rounds. How has everyone seen Rage's rounds? Is he just like showing everybody? There hasn't been someone leaking shit or something. There ain't no way. All right. I love Duncan. He's a friend of mine. But I don't see him beating Bannon in the finals. I'm sorry, but Bannon is just... If he makes it to the finals, I just don't see him losing. If Duncan can save his best routines, somehow save his best routines, that's the only shot I think he has against Bannon. In the finals, at least. I think Duncan can definitely beat Bannon in the quarters, for sure. But when it comes to the finals, I don't know, man. My gut would say that Bannon would win it, but yeah, hurts me to say, but I could see Bannon winning for sure. Just for the sake of like, just for the sake of this, since we're here now, if we were to beat Rage instead of Bannon, I actually think Rage would probably have a better shot at beating Bannon in the finals than Duncan would. Just for the sake of like saying, just for the sake of like different matchups. I think if like Rage were to beat Duncan in the quarters and make it all the way to the finals against Bannon, I think Rage would have a better shot than Duncan would. So I think that Rage's style would match up better against Bannon than Duncan's would. Duncan has a more similar style to Bannon than Rage does to Bannon. I think like Rage's kind of style would be a little bit more overpowering to Bannon, I think. Would overpower him a little bit more, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I think Rage would have a better shot against Bannon than Duncan would, but I picked Duncan to beat Rage because it was way too fucking close. So I'm gonna pick my friend. My closer friend, rather. So yeah. Alright, that's it. I got Bannon. Based on this, I got Bannon winning. Based on the matchups that we know of. So you hope that Launchpad doesn't get banned. I can see Launchpad actually getting banned. I think like now, especially now, I think it's like, it's pretty evidently clear how much of an advantage it gives you over someone who doesn't have one now. So, but also it's very accessible. It's way more accessible than like an SY in terms of like value, right? So I don't know. Who knows what they do? Like I can honestly see them allowing it because it's not as expensive. But I can also see them keeping the loop station like routine, or sorry, loop station category. I can see them keeping it, you know, more faithful as it being a solo device only. If they were to take that approach, then they'll definitely ban it. But yeah, who knows? All right. All right, moving on to the most competitive category, in my opinion. Like, this one is just fucking wild. Like, how do you judge this, man? Like, how are you supposed to judge this? Like, look at these. Look at this lineup, bro. There's only 4, and honestly, all 4 of these guys could fucking win it. But let's be honest. Oops. All right. I don't even know where to start with this one, man. All right, so I was watching KBA live stream the other day, and I know he was talking a little bit about his preparation, and I think he said that he dropped like 2 of his hardware. I think he said he's not using his Helix anymore, and I think he dropped something else as well. So that means I still think it's going to be mostly like DA, I think, but a lot more vocal activated or vocal sourced, or I can't remember which one is which. The one that's approved more for producer is what he's leaning more into. I think it's vocally sourced. So he's leaning more into vocally sourced, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Could be the opposite. But so with that, I think he said he dropped like 2 pieces of hardware to kind of like accommodate for that. Also, KBA also came in 2nd last year, so there's always that factor that if you come so close, I think you have like more of a hunger than anyone else, like coming into it. So that definitely like is an advantage, I think, for KBA. Some may like think of that and look at it as like a more pressure on him because he came so close last time, but I actually think it benefits you. So I think like when you're that hungry, it actually helps you more than like it harms you. It like helps yourself push yourself more, like beyond your limits in both like preparation and execution and performance, like everything, like every aspect, I think. So yeah, KBA is like, honestly, man, I might say he's probably the most scary. Like a hungry lion is more scary than a normal lion, you know what I mean? Antrix is probably the biggest wild card for me because what he did last year I thought was probably like a top 3 performance, but he also ended up getting last place just because of the way he performed it, or the way he executed his tracks. So I think like taking that into mind, he probably took that into preparation for this year, and he course corrected his mistakes from last time. So I think he'll probably fare better this time, potentially. Chaos, I think, has the best style for the event, without question. KBA is a close second for sure, but I think like Chaos's style is the best for battles because this is at the end of the day going to be a battle as well. So this time is not just showcases. This time it's going to be seeding rounds essentially into battles. So yeah, we're going to be seeing on day 1, we'll be seeing their seeding rounds and their semifinal battles. Then I believe on day 2 or 3, I think maybe day 3, we'll see the finals. I can't remember, but yeah, anyway, Chaos has probably the hardest battle kind of style for sure, which is hugely beneficial. I also want to say he's the most ambitious, I think, out of all of them in terms of like sound design and the way he creates his music. I think when you think of like this won't matter so much for this because like the judges are very involved in the beatbox scene, but I think with Chaos is that when you think of like the casual audience, I think he'll be the least least accessible to the casual audience, just because of like his sound design and like the way he creates his music. It's very almost niche in a way, I want to say, but it doesn't really matter for a battle because that's not really like a huge factor in battles. Chaos is like his core essence is like battle, you know what I mean? Like everything he does, like in terms of his routines, is very constructed in a battle way, you know what I mean? Like even his wildcard for this was a fucking diss on literally everyone else here and everyone who's potentially going to do a wildcard. Like that's who he is. So that's a huge benefit for Chaos, I think. Like when it comes to the battles, I think he'll be the most dangerous in the battle. For like style wise, I think. Like style wise, he's the most dangerous, I think, for battle. Saijo. That's tough. Curious for Saijo, because Saijo's approach for producer was just Saijo. Like he didn't come in with Da at all. He just came in with his MK2 and Helix and just did his music, you know. That's what he did. He just performed his music, and yeah, it was basically just Loop Station Saijo with the Helix. So I don't know if we're going to get more of that, or maybe he's taking a different approach this time. Maybe he's going with software as well. Who knows? But we'll just assume that he's just doing the Helix and MK2 again. Again, it comes down to like what I said with Loop Station. Like I don't know what his preparation is going to be like, trying to balance two different categories. But I feel like if he was going to take like one of them more seriously, it probably would be producer, right? Like just the fact of potentially being a 2-time GBB winner in a particular category has only ever been done a couple times before. I don't think it's ever been done in like Loop, or definitely not producer. So yeah, Saijo's an unknown for me. I think he's probably like, I know it's crazy to say because he literally won it last year, but I just really don't know what to expect from Saijo, simply because of how much he's involved in both Loop and producer this year. So I think that has a huge factor in how you can perform, like, and especially in terms of preparation, right? So like there's no way, well, I guess there is a way, but I just feel it's very hard to believe he can perform at the peak level in both. So I think like one of them is going to suffer, and I don't know if it's going to be producer or the Loop. I'm going to guess it's going to be the Loop. So I'll just say we're going to get peak Saijo here, or something like crazy. Because also, again, like I said, this is not just a single showcase with day 1 and day 2 sets, right? This is also battle now too. So that's a whole other dynamic that you got to think about for a producer. Man. Alright, so this is a battle, and we don't really know. Like, all of them are going to make it to the battles. That's just how it works out. I'm not going to predict, like, who makes first, second, third, or fourth. Ooh, that's tough, man. And we don't know, like, who's going to battle each other either. That's the hardest part. I think, like, the toughest matchup is going to be probably Chaos for everyone, especially in the semis. But also KBA has the most drive, I think, coming into it. He has the most hunger, so. With that being said, I can see this being the finals here. I can see this being the finals. KBA and Chaos, for sure. And honestly, I don't know who'd win between those two. I think this really comes down to execution. And I think that Chaos, he had some mistakes last year for sure. I think that KBA's execution in 2023 was definitely better than Chaos's, for sure. At least day 1. Day 1 was... Chaos's day 2 execution was much more polished, I think. But overall, KBA had a better showing last year. With that being said, though, I think that KB Ace is a little bit harder to actually execute well, and I think watching his Hot Tin set was a prime example of that. So if he kind of has a similar kind of, if he executes similarly to how he did in Hot Tin, that would be very troublesome, I think. But I don't think that's going to happen again. I think he'll execute fine here. So this is fucking tough. Look at this, man. KBA versus KS. Like, what in the fuck? Like, how? Like, how do you predict who wins this battle, bro? That's fucking crazy, man. I also wonder, like, how long are the rounds? Is it going to be, like, traditional 3 minute, 30 seconds for each round? Is there going to be 2 rounds, or is it going to be, like, a singular round battle? Like, I don't know how they're going to approach this. It's very different for a producer. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to say I think this always trumps. I think this usually, or should, or in my opinion, it always trumps everything else. If you come so close to something, you can take it 2 ways. You can either give up and feel helpless, or you can let it feed your hunger and pursue it even more and overcome and dominate, you know what I mean? You can learn from your mistakes, improve in areas that you lacked in, and overcome what you could not in the past. So I think, like, for that reason, I'm going to give it to KBA. I love KS. I love his style. I think, like, out of these 4, I prefer his style the most. I think musically, I prefer KBA. Sorry, I think KBA has, like, the best, like, music. He's, like, musically the best, I think, out of the 4. I think, like, KS has the best battle style, but I think the hunger and drive that KBA has right now, I'd imagine, will overcome everything. And I think it would drive him to the victory. So I'm going to predict that KBA takes it, winning the hardest, most, I don't know, difficult one to predict, I think. Like, honestly, this could go either way. Like, I genuinely think Antrix would probably win too, and Saijo could probably do it as well, but only one could take it. And I think the drive and hunger from KBA will push him through from the preparation, and I think he'll have no nerves. I think he'll go up there and do what needs to be done because he's been there before. And I think he said that this will potentially be his last GBB ever. So what more motivation can you have than preparing for it to be the last one you'll ever do? You have to go out on top, right? So yeah, there we go. I think KBA takes it. All right, there it is. That's my predictions. So for solo, I have Wing. Tag team, I have Gyro. Crew, I have Cowler Rangers. Loop, I have Bannon. And producer, I have KBA. All right, so that's going to be what I had planned for the live stream, but there's one last thing here that I want to show you guys. All right, so we just went through all the GBB. You guys are probably wondering. Some of you already asked. I just wanted to wait till now, but yeah, we are doing a watch party here with the Clam Loop Station community channel. Originally, I was going to have a watch party in my Discord, but now we are doing one in the Clam Loop Station community. It's going to kind of operate like a live stream almost. It's going to be a watch party. There's going to be a stage where you'll see the live stream up. The GBB, restream on Discord. Also, there's going to be a stage where a bunch of people are going to be, they're going to be able to talk about what we're watching. I'll be there. I'll be on the stage the entire time. I'll have my camera on. So if you do wish to attend, you'll be able to watch me, my live reactions to the event. Also, I'll be talking with whoever else ends up being on the stage. So yeah, it's going to operate a lot like a live stream like we are right now. But obviously there's going to be more elements to it rather than just myself here. There's going to be multiple people there. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be an awesome time. But obviously the time zones are really cringe. Unfortunately, it is what it is. The event happens in Japan. So I think the start time for day one at least is actually going to be around like 2 a.m. in the morning, which is kind of fucking crazy. But yeah, if you plan to watch it, you're definitely going to have to adjust your sleep schedule. It starts on Friday, 2 a.m. Eastern time. Not this Friday. Well, today is Friday. It's going to be next Friday, 2 a.m. Eastern time. So, yeah. If you guys want to join, Ryan just linked the Discord there in the chat. But yeah. Should be a fun time. So yeah, I guess thank you guys for checking out the live stream here. Also, we have one other thing here. I forgot. All right, we have another track here from Ryan. I guess this is AI again. He's an AI artist. I don't know too much about the AI stuff, but yeah, AI music is fucking taking over and it actually sounds fucking crazy. So he wanted me to hear another track that he created here for the live stream. Yeah, let's listen to it. It's called Thrash. All right, it's another AI track from Ryan. Oh man, dude, AI is fucking. I don't get it, bro. Like, how's it gotten to that point? Like, you can't discern that from like an actual created track. This is gonna take over everything, bro. Not just the music and just fucking everything. Kind of crazy. But yeah, I will say, Ryan, I think like if you made the tracks like a little bit shorter, like around 3 minutes, 30 seconds, I think it'd be like a lot more impactful, I think. I don't know what your vision is for the tracks, but yeah. I think having like the two drop kind of like setup like Loop has would definitely be more digestible, I think. But other than that, bro, like what there's like no complaints really. Like it's very genre-esque, you know what I mean? So this fucking slaps, hits hard. Yeah. AI be AIing for sure. Nice. I like to hear it. Yeah, I think like 3 minutes is definitely like the sweet spot for sure. Especially for that kind of genre, I think. Definitely. Good job though, man. Sick. Oh, SLPT. The fucking goat. Thanks a lot, man. KBA for GBB for sure. Thanks, man. Thanks for the dono. As always. Alright, that's gonna be it. I think like for terms of live streams, next time you'll see me will be the GBB watch party if you choose to join. I'm definitely not doing any live streams on this channel for a couple weeks. So yeah, in terms of videos, I do still have a couple videos planned. I didn't get around to them this week, so potentially next week, who knows? It's whenever I feel I want to do it is when it will be out. So, but other than that, that was fun predicting that. The winners there again. You can see it on the stream one last time. Got Wing for solo, Gyro for tag team, Calo Rangers for crew, Bannon for loop, and KBA for producer. So, however many of those I'll get right, I don't know. I definitely will probably get one of them right. Right? I can't go 0 for 5. That'd be fucking crazy. It could happen, but who knows? But yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, nothing else for me to say. So yeah, hopefully I see some of you guys at the watch party. If not, I'll see you guys next time in a video or live stream. So you guys have a good rest of your nights, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.